Oh no, I'm such good sounds. I sound exactly like the game. Steve knew what game it was now. Anyways, hey everybody, welcome to the Retro Indie Pixels podcast. I'm your host, the Old World Gamer, along with Mr. 6'7" Cyrus. Ooh,
who dat?
Who dat? That's you, dude.
You're right. Mr. I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget these things. Like, so, is there a thing we need to talk about at the beginning of this Retro Indie Pixels podcast about music?
Well, yeah. Okay, so, if anyone noticed on the what?
I said a little errantly, get this out of the way.
Yeah. So, if anyone noticed on the last podcast, we didn't really have music playing. For some reason, it wasn't picking up YouTube properly. So, once I'm going to be moving soon, and once I get moved, I'll probably take some time aside from before I start streaming to probably do new layouts, to do some testing of audio and stuff, because I did have some mishaps happen. I've lost my speakers and stuff, so I'm hoping that I can get that straightened away, and that way if we need music from YouTube, or we're using soundtracks that are on YouTube, that we'll be able to hear them clearly instead of me looking like I'm dancing to nothing. Gotta love that. Hello Liz, how's it going? So yeah, that's something to look forward to. And until then, though, we will be just using VLC, not the speakers. I know, right? I need some new speakers too, because sometimes I like just having some music juiced, like real loud, and I love that shit. But then when I don't have it, then it's not the same. Oh, you can just put on your headphones. It's not the same. It's not the same. Stop trying to force me into it. I'm not doing it. Anyways, yeah, we're going to have a good podcast for you tonight. I don't have a terrible amount of news, but I do got some good stuff. Steve, Mr. Six over there, seems to have some good stuff, so I think it'll be a worthy podcast this evening.
You say some good stuff, but the first thing I'm going to cover, I'm going to rage at.
Well, you know, you can't not everything's, you know.
Right. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows, and that's where I'm going to segue into this really weird product here. Are you guys ready for some products right at the beginning of the stream?
Ooh.
Man, this Six guy just like shoving those products in my face. It's not even a video game, it's not a console, and it's really expensive, guys. Atari sells NFT sneakers for over $3,000. Okay, alright. There's a reason I'm upset. $3,000 aside, but apparently I'm not the only one who's going to be upset about this. There might be some live audience members going crazy. Shoutouts to Game Hunter 09 for his totally legitimate reactions here. So, retro gaming fans are going wild. Like, I'm gonna murder these shoes, yeah, over these Atari NFT sneakers. Digital art that you can't actually wear. What? It's okay. We'll fill in the blanks and explain exactly what that means. I'm gonna hunt this. The Game Hunter 09 confirmed hunter. It's finally happened. I can't help it. I had to point that out. As much as this is confusing and frustrating, and I'm trying to have reactions to live audience members, this is a real thing. It's announced collaboration in conjunction with RTFKT Studios. I don't know much about them, but there is a hyperlink there, so that obviously they do want you to know more if you're curious. These shoes mark a growing number of NFT sneaker releases aimed at a tech-hungry audience looking for the very best collectibles. Gucci's even joined this fray, so you know it's serious. We're going to have to do some further research on this. Mr. Seb Santana Barbara knows some stuff that we don't again. Why this? I'm still confused. So it's digital art, shoes for $3,000, and he's talking about Gucci getting in on the fray on collectibles? I'm confused. More. Please interject, Mr. OWG.
I don't like these. I don't think I'd ever wear these shoes at all, really, honestly. Look at them.
Even if they were real shoes, would you wear them?
No! And $3,000? Are you nuts? I can think of so many better things I can buy with $3,000. In regards to gaming alone, no problem. Give me $3,000. I'll definitely make my collection that much better with $3,000. Just give it. Buy a new computer. What?
Buy 2 new computers and use one to stream from and one to game from, like some people I know. Oh, I'm sorry. That aside, here's everything we know about these Atari NFT sneakers with some important questions answered along the way. Like, why would someone pay $3,000 for a pair of shoes you can't even wear?
Because I have money to burn. Okay, well, let me burn my pocket, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so what are NFT sneakers? Let's go there.
Nifty.
Virtual sneakers and other collectible art. Okay, yeah, we talked about that. So you want people to show these off and not wear them. I got that part. No, I don't want to imagine buying an original David Hockney or owning the tent that Tracy Emin used in that art piece about all her ex-lovers, but as a digital version. No.
Nah.
Seb Santana Barbara, or yeah.
I think you just like saying his name more than anything. Hanna-Barbera.
This is like a concerned ape thing. He's writing these articles, and I have questions about what he's talking about here. Non-fungible token. Okay, alright. Now I understand. These are Bitcoin shoes. Yes.
Okay, I mean, so.
That doesn't make it any better. Atari and RTF KT Studios have made an Atari collectible that's good enough to wear. Literally. Stop it. The shoe in the picture above us is called the Shiny Edition and is a one-off piece of digital art, making it a very special bit of digital kit. The shoe in the cover photo is the Atari X MGSX, one of 4 shoes in existence, that also sold for $3,586. I think I'm done with this now. I didn't like this, and I like it a little less now. So, Atari thinks they're cool enough to make Bitcoin about themselves? Ooh, that's my hot take. I can't read this anymore. Most of what we know about digital currency, and yes, that's what I'm going to call this, because people are going to trade these like hotcakes, you better believe.
I love hotcakes.
There are going to be people who buy these and sell these at a higher price.
Gross.
It's going to happen. Exactly.
Gross.
A piece of digital art they're going to buy and sell for more. With a physical product, you can argue, something. I don't know. But with that, it's just like, no, someone else owned it, so it's worth more. And I'm like, pre-owned usually decreases value.
Yeah.
Except in the case of some things, which we will get into later. And I think that's where we're going to cut off from this one here. You let us know. You at 6devcyrusme on the Twitters about this one. If you like this, tell me why you like it. Please, I want to hear your opinion on this. I need to get away from this before I have problems. It still hurts me, okay? Well, Tencent Handheld planning to take on. I really failed my phrasing there. Tencent Handheld planning to take on the Nintendo Switch.
10 cents? Oh, that's cheap. I'll buy 5 or 6 of them.
I don't think that's what it's gonna cost, but we'll find out. Thirsty bastard. He can't help it. PC gaming fans are readying themselves as a new contender for the portable gaming crown emerges from the shadows. The Tencent Handheld.
Oh, I love it.
Portable powerhouse looks set to take the world by storm, and its strong resemblance to the Nintendo Switch is bound to grab people and their attention and their hard-earned cash. Yes, I read this differently than the article writer.
Yeah, and Nintendo might be all like, excuse me? What are you doing there? Hold on now. Hold on.
I'm actually kind of curious, because are there enough differences here? I don't know if this will get covered in the article, but that's a question I'm going to have in this process. This portable powerhouse... Oh, wait. No, I read that one already. But what is the Tencent Handheld? Is it legit? Does it cost 10 cents? Both legitimate questions that I had when I saw this article head. You want answers? And we've got them. Find out everything and more. Wait, everything and more. How do you... Never mind. So
here's everything. Here's a bit more of it.
Yeah. That's another Hanna-Barbera thing. I'm gonna point out.
Good old Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, dang it. So, Tencent are a $1 billion Chinese technology company focusing on console distribution and production, as well as game development. Why haven't we heard of Tencent before if they're $1 billion? I don't care if it's Chinese. If console distribution and production, they had to have had their hands in something. They're a name that many Nintendo gamers may have already heard of. It just so happens they are the company working on the online multiplayer title for iOS, Android, and Switch, Pokemon Unite.
What?
The Pokemon MOBA. Okay. Plus, Tencent are the ones responsible for distributing everything Nintendo Switch throughout China since 2019. That's a humongous deal. Well, now I know how they got their hands on all that proprietary technology. And it is no wonder that they're a $1 billion company. I'm going to guess that through their distributing everything Nintendo Switch throughout China since 2019 is going to give them rights to all the proprietary information, because that's the way those things work.
Yeah, but see, then there's always things that keep things back, like, these can only be purchased in China. These only come in Chinese. So unless you know how to speak Chinese, then you can't really do much with it, now can you?
Yes, and that's another thing that we're going to talk about later. Why do you keep segueing me when I can't segue?
Yeah, moved to Florida.
No, stop. So they're already in the door with Nintendo. That much is certain, which I just said, which makes all the more fishy when you consider their new console looks very similar to Nintendo's hybrid hero. Cough, cough, Nintendo Switch, cough, cough. Yes, I know. Excuse me. So what is this thing? Well, for our listening audience, you might not go and click the link, so... Well, it looks a lot like a Switch Lite. In fact, there's only one thing that I'd really say is different, and that's a couple placements of things on the device.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost exactly the same thing. One thing I will note is it does seem to have ergonomic grips on the back for where you would have been holding on to your Joy-Con. So that.
But the Joy-Cons don't come off of the light, do they?
No, they don't, and that's why I said this looks like a light, because the big difference between the Switch, the main Switch and the Switch Lite is that this looks like it's a Switch screen with.
It looks like it's a bigger screen.
That's it looks like a Switch screen is what I was trying to say there, and I'm kind of. Did someone hear what I was saying, or did Tencent just have the money to go and do this because reasons?
You know, it'd be even funnier. What about if the people who found the information on this didn't get the full picture or full story, and they found out that this is going to be the new Switch Lite Pro in China, and they're testing it in China first because, hey, no one's going to know what a Tencent Handheld is, so let's just do that, and people won't know the difference, and then we can run it over there.
There's a reason why I'm going to naysay that. And this is being discussed as a portable PC console. If you can look at the pictures, it's the second picture there. No, it's the third. Excuse me.
I'm not looking at anything.
There's a Windows button under the D-pad on the left side. That is a Windows button.
Oh. Oh yeah, PC console.
Yeah. So I don't know what your functionality with this is going to be, but if you can get anything post 2015, maybe even something more like 2018, like hardware-wise going on, then it might be worth it. If it's anything less than that, you might as well just play a Switch. I'm gonna kind of just say that the big functionality you would get out of this is playing all your emulation or your Steam games or XYZ on the go, which is it's really different. I like some of this, and I don't like the fact that it is a PC console and we don't know the specs yet. And one thing they're mentioning is it's a Windows 10. No, that's the Windows 10 button. So I was right, it's a Windows button, but it's specifically Windows 10. So even further, there you go. This is going to be a Windows 10 OS on a Switch. We don't even have the price here for you. It's got a Type-C interface and a built-in stand.
Interface.
And those are about all the details that I have here for you. There's a lot of good in this, and a
lot of bad. Sorry, I mistyped.
You're fine either way you say that. And if I can't upgrade this, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
Yeah, Steve's gonna pee all over it.
Like, hi, Tencent, potential future customer outside of China. This better be upgradable. And if I can't interact with the OS smoothly, this will be a joke. It will literally be a joke. I don't know how you intend to take on the Switch with this, but you have an interesting concept. I think we need to see a little more. What do you think, Mr. OWG?
I'm bopping to the music, sorry. Honestly, I'm just trying to, if they're just going to do Windows on this, then basically you're looking at what I would call a handheld Steam machine. That's potentially all I'd want on it. What else would you put on it?
Yeah. Epic Games or any of your DRMs.
Oh, that's true. I've got lots of DRMs, but
digital right management software. There's a lot of those. You could be going for GOG.
Grab me by the GOG.
That might be getting DOS games portable. That is something that I didn't immediately see about this. That might be something I like. Is the ability to make DOS games.
She's like, I can play DOS Box and King's Quest and stuff right in the car while I'm waiting for Mother to get groceries. This is the best kind.
No, what I'm gonna do is build a King's Quest 6 course and run the course while I'm playing video games.
How dare you? I was trying to make you have fun while you were waiting for your mother. And you're all like, I'm shooting you down. It's okay, I understand. I will cry at the grocery store by myself. Yeah.
I wish we had more to say on this. I want a price point. I want hardware specs. I want to know about the ability to upgrade. But for now, I'm just going to leave you with this. Apparently the handheld gaming world is about to try and get upset. That's where we leave off here.
Handheld gaming world. Nintendo gave up on the 3DS because it has the Switch Lite.
Well, I mean, yeah. Speaking of the handheld world,
yeah,
there's this wonderful homebrew that was created by a gentleman for himself. This next one is not a product for sale, which for me is a little frustrating. However, I can understand why with some of the customization that took place here. And I don't think you can clean this up. And if you could see the pictures in this article, and
we'll see it eventually.
You'll understand. But apparently, the N64 Gameboy combines two epic Nintendo consoles into one epic handheld. The unfortunate thing with this here that I'm gonna, before we even get into it, I'm gonna point out something that I really dislike. We've completely discarded the GBA functionality for N64 functionality. There's nothing I've seen here yet that makes any mention of the GBA or any of its guts or anything. So anyway, let's get into this article. This is an interesting concept. A little jelly, there's only one in the world. One of the best bits about my job is stumbling across epic creations built by the retro gaming community, like this incredible N64 Gameboy. Modders and handheld gaming enthusiasts continually surprise us with their ingenuity and their commitment to doing what Nintendo won't, and that's making an N64 handheld. I'm gonna be honest, I've wanted something like this for so long now, playing my existing carts of the best N64 games on a portable handheld with no save file issues. It'd be a dream come true. I say just port it all to Switch.
I didn't grow up with an N64, so that was in my high school days when I was trying to get girls to be interested in me.
Okay. Yeah.
I was wrong. They weren't. So I could have been playing N64. Instead, I had to be all like, let's go drinking.
Like I said, I would rather have this stuff ported to the Switch than like make an N64 handheld. And I'm looking at Mr. Santa Barbaric. I can't even say it. I'm just article writer. Stop this. You know we're on Retro Dodo when I'm questioning everything. Jonathan Wild, aka Hailraiser, has done just that, turning an old Game Boy Advance carry case into a working handheld console that keeps classic Ninty games alive and kicking. Yeah, see, so that's it's a carry case. It's literally carrying those parts. That's all it's there for. So I don't know all the extents of the modifications yet.
Well, it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, that looks like a GameCube analog stick. Either that or it came from like something like a Wavebird or something. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. and I can't tell if the screen's modified or anything, but if you look at like the internals for this, it is actually a carrying case. It wasn't actually a SNES. There's a picture here that actually shows the back of it that says Game Boy Advance carrying case. I never knew that there was a SNES carrying case, or not a SNES, a GBA carrying case that looked like a GBA. So I'm a little puzzled here as far as that goes. But it looks like there's a couple AA sized rechargeable lithium ion batteries in here, and the internals look to be a bit of a mess. But that's probably because he's putting a lot into a very small space and trying to get away with it. This is the thing where I said I understand why this isn't being mass produced, but I'm still jealous anyway. I would like to play one of these.
I don't think it would play long.
No, see, that's one of the details I'm trying to see. You use the same start and select button found on the GBA, added the GameCube joystick.
I was right.
The shoulder buttons are smaller and the Z buttons are on top of the handheld. They're nicely placed for quick triggers. It's a little chunkier. Yeah, we were talking about that. No. Is there any other details?
No.
No, there's no other details here. So this one's kind of just a teaser. Somewhere out there in the world, there is, it's not a real GBA, but it looks like one. Playing N64 games. The big reason I wanted to cover this is because I think Jonathan is a pretty cool guy here. I like the concept of these kinds of things, and I want to see more people sitting at home being like, you know, there's something I want, and I think I can fabricate this out of existing things. Really cool stuff. Totally jealous. I want to know how long the battery lasts, and if you're going to consider production. LOL. Probably not. Well, we're gonna move on to things that actually do exist for all of people. Oh, not all people, but for regions at least, instead of just individuals. So Carrie Brunskill over at Nintendo Life brought us this article about a brief history of Nintendo's home hardware add-ons. It's a multi-format menagerie, apparently. And the first picture is a frickin' Pokemon Blue cartridge and a Super Game Boy sitting in a SNES.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I missed out on this. So this is gonna mostly be painful. A lot of these things are gonna be hard to get nowadays, but I took a look at this article and there's some things that I didn't know existed that are pretty interesting. So we're gonna take a look here in a second.
You know, it's surprising. I think I have 2 copies of Fire Red, but I don't have, or I shouldn't say Fire Red, Pokemon Red, but I don't have any copies of Pokemon Blue.
That's really weird. Why would you do that?
How dare you, sir?
We're just gonna segue off of that. Nintendo's handheld console upgrades were so common for so long, you could practically set your watch by them. The leap from Game Boy to Game Boy Color via the Pocket. The GBA's evolution from its original battery-powered form to the blazing intensity of the Micro's beautiful screen. The more recent range of DSIs, XLs, and the new exclamation points? Is that the new 2DS?
No, because the exclamation points is in the 1.
I don't know what the heck they're talking about there, but oh well. Sorry, Carrie. And even now those Switch Pro rumors just won't go away. Can we not talk about Switch Pro rumors? Ah. What's often forgotten is all the effort poured into the company's home hardware. While this is going on... What?
Home hardware, that's a store here.
Oh, okay. Expanding their capabilities, designing new storage mediums, creating specialized services, and releasing exclusive titles that capitalized on the raw power and fresh opportunities lurking within the base console's shiny new attachment. It was all very impressive, with only one slight drawback. Most of these accessories never left Japan. Ah!
What are you talking about? You can totally get a magnifying glass that goes over your Game Boy so you can play it with the bigger screen, quote unquote. Huh. No.
That was a trick of the light.
Oh, then it had a built-in light that was so bright you could see it, like, if you played it in the dark, maybe.
Man, this Famicom looks really nice in this picture. Anyway.
Yeah, it's because of the disc system. The original Legend of Zelda, I believe, came out on the disc system, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Well, that's why, like, there's a lot of stuff that we didn't get with ours. Like, a lot of people don't realize that the second controller for the Famicom came with a microphone.
Yeah, no, we don't know any of those things.
And in order to use, one of the functions of that microphone in The Legend of Zelda, I think, is, I don't know if you whistle or you say something, and that's what kills the Pole's voice, not the flute.
Right.
Or is it? Yeah, I think it's the flute.
That's one use about it that I'm aware of, but I didn't know the second controller came with that microphone. Like you can see it here on this picture, it says mic. Huh.
Yeah, there's a volume slider there too.
Yeah. So the Famicom Disk System. By the way, Nintendo Life, they want to torture us with this. The next line before we actually get into this is actually still, that's never stopped Nintendo Life, has it? Join us now for a brief tour of Nintendo's home console add-on hardware, courtesy of the company that practically invented the half-step console upgrade. So we're looking at this Famicom Disk System from 1986.
I want one so bad, and I need a Famicom.
It literally looks like they took the Famicom, put the thing on top of it, and then set it on that disk system, and that looks like a floppy drive.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, okay. Alright, I know what's going on here then. So, this 1986 expansion is perhaps the most well-known of Nintendo's import-only hardware trilogy, adding a super stylish floppy disk drive underneath the Famicom's classy white and red shell. The titular discs came not in standard computer-style packaging, but thick Nintendoized cases, and were capable of holding a whopping 112 KB of rewritable data, allowing players to store their progress directly on the disc itself and saving them from having to laboriously copy lengthy passwords by hand, and saving publishers from having to manufacture expensive cartridges with extra chips and battery-powered save slots. Really?
Yep.
Sounds super cushy. Like, I want to phone up Japan and be like, hello, anybody there, do you have an old Famicom computer system with the disk system attached? I don't care if it's in crappy condition. I want to put it on display, because this sounds like crossover history right here. Nintendo meets IBM.
Oh, Steve, you don't know how to have it. You do realize that before there was a PlayStation, Sony almost paired with Nintendo to make a disc system, a CD compact disc system, to go with the N64.
Come to think of
But then Nintendo pulled out, and shortly thereafter, Sony said, fuck it, let's do our own system. And PlayStation was born.
Yep, and nowadays they're looking for elite gamers. Hi, you at me all you want over there at PlayStation, I'm looking for you. It's not your article, though. I just wanted to kind of at you.
He's making eyes at you.
What?
I said, he's making eyes at you.
Not the kind you like. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, alright. Less immediately obvious than the new storage medium was the additional RAM and extra sound channel the disk system brought to the Famicom.
Yep.
And what this meant for games created with this add-on in mind. In the 80s, games used to be so small and so densely packed that code had to be shuffled around, and programs would literally fall from one line straight into the next. Memory at such a premium, the instant an enemy was off screen, it ceased to exist. It's a small miracle we ever got any games at all. The disk system's combination of double-sided disk space and extra RAM gave game designers a little more room to breathe, to think bigger, and to create titles like The Legend of Zelda.
Yep. There we go.
These games... What?
I said, there we go. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. These games would, for the most part, be reworked and re-released later on in Famicom and NES cartridges at a time when the cost of manufacturing beefier carts was deemed more reasonable. Part of the reason why the Famicom disk system was never released outside its homeland. Most survived the transition relatively intact, although there's something to be said for the richer soundscape of the Famicom disk system and the hardware's innate ability to save your progress. Some might say certain classic games were actually better on the Famicom disk system.
Yep.
And they go on to suggest a few.
But before they do that, you have to realize one thing. Back in the day, you probably wouldn't have cared so much. Right now,
no.
A lot of people are going to be all, oh my god, it's a load time. So, yeah, take that into consideration. There's going to be load times. So, if you're one of those whiny bitches who are all like, oh, I can't believe that took 5 seconds to load, then, yeah, don't even look at this.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's fair. There are some suggestions here that I'm interested in. Metroid, Zelda 2, Castlevania. They completely do over Yume Kauju
Doki Doki
Pan. And,
yeah, but that was what Super Mario Bros. 2 was.
Yeah.
Pratty Liz. Keep up the regular water drinking.
Let's see here. They also suggest Konami's Esper Dream and the Famicom Detective Club games, which are coming out on the Switch. Those remakes are coming out.
Pretty sure Esper Dream is supposed to be pretty good, actually. Yeah.
Okay. And an inventive musical shmup called Otaki.
I've not heard of that game, though. That could be interesting.
That was different.
Okay, I see what our next thing is that we're talking about.
I had no idea that this one existed.
If I'm not mistaken, the Satellaview allowed you to get on the internet through satellite, and you can play games that way. And they actually had some stuff that was some games that you can't get anymore that was only available through Satellaview. There was actually contests and tournaments and stuff held through that as well. But again, like Steve said, it was only in Japan. Now, I can understand that because they probably didn't know, like, how are we going to set this up for North America? Is it going to be just the U.S.? Is it going to be U.S. and Canada? Is it only going to be big cities?
You'd have to have them set up their own satellite grid and have it be... You'd have to know that people were going to use the game enough for that satellite grid to be worth it. So I think that's probably the big thing right there. And you even if you wanted to go to Korea or Japan, that is a headache that I wouldn't want. You have to ask so much out of another country just for them to have this add-on. You know what I mean?
Now they were ready for this. If you have a North American Super Nintendo, anyone out there who's watching, listening right now, if you have a Super Nintendo North American at home right now, flip it over and tell me what you see on the bottom. There should be a little slot there that was never used. If you want me to, I think I have one. Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to read a little more of the article here. Sandwiching the user's Super Famicom between a base unit and a unique VSX cartridge.
You guys probably didn't look at the bottom of it very often because, well, why would you? But if you look here, up in this top, sorry about that, up in this top corner, there's a little tab. And this is called the extension. And it opened up and had a slot. But nobody ever bothered looking at that.
I actually looked at that quite a few times, and I'd never seen an expansion port. I'd never seen anything that connected to that.
Not even extension port.
Right.
So these are on every Super Nintendo, but as far as I know, they never actually utilized them. I could be mistaken. There could be some strange, weird peripheral that I'm just not aware of.
Well, that's the thing, is a peripheral could have been made, but it never got popular in the US. But, so you had to have the VSX cartridge, and it was a premium feel. According to what this says, the Satellaview, it brought online gaming to Nintendo's 16-bit console. In conjunction with St. Giga, a Japanese satellite radio company, the hardware allowed paying subscribers to download games either onto the system itself onto an 8 megabyte memory pack slotted into the required VSX cartridge, access magazines, news, and enter competitions. Downloaded games could be anything from visually updated Famicom classics and short mini-games to true exclusives and full-length RPGs. Some were even episodic sound-link releases. A thrilling mix of traditional game data paired with live-streamed audio only available at set hours of the day in a specific time window. Reruns were sometimes broadcast at a later date for those that had missed them in the first time around. Talk about spoiled. I want this. Why did this not happen? I'm so upset.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm pretty sure that had happened on this Satellaview that we would have loved over here. Again, I think it was just we're big, but at the same time, look at how big Japan is in such a small area.
Yep. And they knew they were going to sell like wildfire in their homeland, and they had no idea how they'd sell anywhere else. I can see why some of these didn't come here. Even if they would have worked really well, there would have been a lot of legwork. A lot. And that doesn't necessarily trend towards more money.
Now, you also have to remember that this is specialty equipment as well. So, going back to the disk drive for the Famicom.
Yeah.
One of the bad things about the Famicom disk system is that it could and will eventually the band basically will break inside the belt. Sorry, there you go. The drive belt inside will actually break, and over time, if it's not replaced, the type of plastic it was made out of corrodes and basically crumbles into nothing. So it's not a big deal. I mean, it's just open up the system, shake it clear, and it's out. That's fine. But you would have to get a new belt for most of those disk systems. But so I would assume that repairing a Satellaview probably was costly, and they probably had to train people and send them over.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's probably a lot of reasons why we didn't get it, but again, there's a lot of things. I'm pretty sure there was almost another Legend of Zelda game, I think, that they put out that we never got or something. I can't remember what it was exactly.
Well, I want to look at the titles that they've got suggested here. The live streamed audio of the SoundLink titles is presumed lost forever, which of course you would presume that. I'm sure they're alive in someone's private collection, but lost forever is probably a pretty good assumption there. It's worth spending a few moments lamenting the loss of Squaresoft's Chrono Trigger related adventure Radical Dreamers. BS F-Zero Grand Prix. Yep. Hey, it's that F-Zero game that people were looking for, cough cough. Kirby's Toy Box and BS Fire Emblem.
Never heard of Kirby's Toy Box. And well, Fire Emblem, it took a while before Fire Emblem ever got popular in North America.
Yep.
It was around since Nintendo days, and we never heard of it because it was not something we were super into, I guess.
Sounds about right. It looks sleek. It doesn't... I don't think the SNES would look as good with this as the Super Famicom.
Well, it all depends on how they would model it to fit. Because, I mean, look at this. This thing is obviously modeled so that the Super Famicom fits snugly on top and looks like it contours so that it looks like it's supposed to fit there. So I'd assume they would have done the same thing with the North American version.
Yeah, I would hope it would be that sleek.
I would love to have one of these, not to be able to use, but just to say that I have one, because I do have a Super Famicom. But
it is definitely sounding like some gaming history. Unlike this next piece, the 64DD from '99.
That is what I was talking about before, the Nintendo 64 disk drive.
After many years of worldwide speculation and trade show teasing, Nintendo finally released the 64DD for the N64 in '99. Another under-the-console affair, the online-capable Japan-only accessory utilized pleasantly chunky rewritable discs to store a massive 64 megabits of data, and even featured an internal clock enabling games to potentially alter depending on the time of day.
So this might not have been a CD. It might have been almost like a zip drive. Because if you look at it, it almost looks like it takes a floppy disk, but a harder, bigger floppy disk, which would have been a zip drive.
It would be two-sided, so then you could get the 64 megabits in a time where 64 megabits seems a little difficult for the space you're trying to do it in.
Well, also considering that CDs at the time could hold 700 megabytes of information. Oh. So, I mean, considering that this only does 64 megabytes, it's not really much.
Probably specialize it, yeah. For all the time and money spent creating it, not to mention organizing the RandNet online services that went with it, this is import-only add-on that it really struggled to justify its existence. A mere 10 discs, not even 10 games, were officially released for the 64DD. So it'll be no surprise to learn the system came and went without leaving a mark on the gaming landscape. As many know, the much talked about Ura Zelda expansion of Ocarina of Time didn't end up on the format at all. Wow, that sucks. I'm gonna lament that would have been amazing. The unusual Doshin the Giant is infinitely more accessible on the GameCube, and even if its 64DD expansion disc Kyojin no Doshin Kalho Sensen Chibiko Chiko Daishugo somehow turned out to be indisputably the greatest game of all time, it would still be incredibly difficult to justify spending the large sums of money needing to play it. That was a lot of Japanese to read in a row.
And did it hurt you, Steve?
It's a little complicated. I had to mention it. I'm sorry.
Why does everything gotta be so constipated?
Yes, something like that. The Mario Artist Trilogy, Polygon Studio, Paint Studio, and Talent Studio are a great showcase of the hardware's potential, allowing users to create their own 3D models, 2D drawings, and animations respectively. The mouth-watering F-Zero X expansion kit offers an alternative window into editable gaming world, working in conjunction with the original F-Zero X cart to enable users to create their own courses and their own vehicles to use on them too.
Yep.
I would have actually probably liked F-Zero a lot more if that had been a real thing for me. The other thing that's mentionable here is SimCity 64. I would have loved that. That probably would have saved the franchise. And yes, I know there's modern games, but it wouldn't be so broken up, I guess is what I really mean to say there.
I would have loved that. I love SimCity.
Exactly. Almost all of the expansion games that they've talked about here, the things that I'm more interested in than the hardware themselves.
Well, you can probably play them on an emulator, you know that, right?
Probably. I might go look for such things as these. So by now at this point, you must be like me and saying, but what about the West? Because we're the West. The import-only status and slightly ephemeral nature of the three mentioned above may make them irresistible to love, esoteric and committed hoarders of retro. Yeah, like OWG over here and me, because one of them is PC NES that I can geek over for all of eternity.
Hey,
readable Famicom disc games is only getting tougher with the passage of time. No, don't say that.
Yeah, you say that. You're not even collecting shit, dude. Think about me. I know that. Like this entire time, I just.
Yeah, but to focus solely on those Japan only. I was gonna say Japanese only achievements. Would mean forgetting that Nintendo's very best hardware add-ons were available in all territories, namely the SNES's Super Game Boy and the Game Boy Cube's Game Boy player, the second of which is one of my favorite hardwares of all time.
Game Boy Cube?
Yeah. Game Boy.
I was like, what?
Game Boy.
GameCube? Game Boy player? Not Game Boy. Not Game Boy Cube.
Yeah, it's so much better. Why? I'm so thirsty.
Stop drinking soda and drink water.
I should. I have very little water left. I'm trying to save it. I don't want to get up yet. Gotta wait for the podcast to be over, sir. These things are not especially fancy or rare, although finding a Game Boy player that comes with the required disc can be an expensive endeavor. I think we lost ours. Maybe it's in the GameCube. The GameCube is behind me, and I'm not going to go looking at it.
So I've thought about this, and I haven't tried it, but you can get mini discs, and most people have computers with disc drives that have writers on them. So if you get one of those mini discs and get someone who has the software that you can just basically print onto the fucking disc, then yeah, I think you should be able to still do it that way.
Actually, there's a different device for mini disc writing, and it's even smaller and cheaper than a disc writer, according to what I'm seeing here. Okay, all right. So this is probably a thing you could do. You probably go get yourself a new disc for that. Probably a little more expensive than you want it to be, but not as expensive as they're gonna make it. And by design, they don't even let you play anything you don't already own, but they're perfect. The Super Game Boy looks perfect. Like the American release piece here looks really clean.
But anyone out there who is a speedrunner, you do not want the North American Super Game Boy. Take it, chuck it. Actually, no. Put it in your collection, leave it there. If you're going to speedrun, you actually need to own a Super Game Boy 2 from Japan. The reason being that I'm pretty sure the Super Game Boy for the Super Nintendo in North America runs at a faster clock rate. So technically you're running faster than you would on an actual Game Boy, and therefore you're actually being faster than people who can actually play on a Game Boy. So it's not fair. But I mean, otherwise, if you're not a speedrunner, who cares? Just play to your heart's delight, really.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Exactly. Thanks to these unassuming devices, we got to see Super Mario Land's tiny sprites freed from the original Game Boy's smeary screen. Play Pokemon as a home console game years before it officially became one. And tense up as Metroid Fusion's SAX walk into a living room-sized screen. And this is before we even mention the extra features, such as the Super Game Boy's beautiful title screens, decorative borders, single-screen multiplayer support for Killer Instinct, or the Takara-published ports of various SNK fighters. Man, I'm thinking of an individual who would really enjoy a lot of the information being released in this article here. But that's okay. Apparently Wario Blast featuring Bomberman and Bomberman GB even went as far as to support multiplayer if played using a Super Game Boy. Wow. That's kind of crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, in Japan, they released a Bomberman multi-tap for the Super Nintendo.
You know what? That sounds right for some reason.
And it looks like a little Bomberman head. There you go, Liz. You ever want to have like some good ideas for gifts for me? Bomberman stuff. Mega Man stuff, that you're good to go.
Well, let's take it to a look at the last piece of hardware here. The Game Boy, the GameCube Boy, as OWG lovingly put it.
No, that was you. You literally said the SNES Super Game Boy and the Game Boy Cube's Game Boy player, and I'm like, wait, what? Oh. No, that's not right.
Okay, so I said it like that. Listen, I'm just trying to
cover it up and make it say you done it.
The Game Boy GameCube player is a mouthful. Wait. See, I can't even say it. Now leave me alone and let me read things that I can't say.
Stephen has been broken.
Yes, I have. By comparison, the Game Boy player's ability to make GameCube controllers rumble when used with Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga and Super Mario Advance 4, and Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, and more, felt a little less exciting. I'm sorry, that feels a little less exciting, but no less welcome. Given the requisite hardware and copies of games, it was entirely possible to use link cables and multiplayer titles on separate TVs. This was a rare occurrence due to the amount of kit and the sizable investment required, but it was a neat feature nonetheless. They're suggesting a game after this. But I mean, every Game Boy game, every Game Boy Color game, and every Game Boy Advance game could be played by this one single device through the GameCube. It's amazing. I still love it to this day because it gives you access to such a huge library on a screen. If you don't care about going mobile, like with some of the products we've shown on the past on the cast, this is a great way to sit at home and play your games. And it's all Nintendo hardware, you know. I had to wax a little on the GameCube Game Boy player a little there. I couldn't help it. But now I want to cover something completely different. We've been talking about a lot of old modifications for hardware. Well, let's talk about some new modifications for hardware.
Oh yeah, I remember you seeing a picture of this and you sent it over. I likes it some lot. Oh.
Me too. I didn't know if you were gonna like it, but every time I look at it, I like it just a little more. I don't know why it keeps growing on me when I already like it.
Don't get me wrong. I've seen like, oh, look at this Nintendo that's painted like green and black and it has LEDs on the front of it instead. And I'm like, yeah, that's nice. I don't give a fuck that you know how to fucking print shit up. No. This looks fun because it looks like it could have actually been a thing.
Yeah.
That's it. And not because it's super fancy or anything, but just because Nintendo has done these clear systems before, usually with handhelds more than anything else. They've done a couple for N64 as well. Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, yeah, no, Anyway, sorry. I'm just craving my jeans.
Let's forget the Switch, the PS5, and the Xbox Series X. Transparent retro consoles are the must-have item of 2021. I'm looking at this picture and it's still growing on me. I almost want it to be like the gray bits and the purple bits are like clear plastic.
Whoa. Stop. Don't go using bits.
So it's like purple clear and like gray clear. Oh, make it all like clear. I'm sorry, I'm going crazy. So back in the 80s and 90s, demand for see-through technology arguably hit its peak. While the 70s had been about attaching bits of wood to consumer electronics to make them fit more convincingly in the living room, there was soon a burning desire to actually see the inner workings of the systems we used. And that resulted in some pretty awesome consoles, including more than one transparent Game Boy and a cool skeleton Saturn.
Oh yeah.
Latter sadly being exclusive to Japan.
Yeah, dude. Okay. Just a quick note on that. If you guys are liking variants and stuff for your systems, go look at stuff that they have in Japan, because the amount of different stuff. One of the nicest looking GameCubes that you can get is the seafoam green one that they done in Japan. That it's like Tales of Symphonia or something like that. One of those. Yeah, it's an exclusive thing in Japan and it looks amazing. Sega Saturn had a seafoam green and a pink see-through Hello Kitty Sega Saturn that are also amazing and would allow you to go online, and it came with, I think it was a mouse and a keyboard. So again,
access to cheap means of mass production in the Far East has recently triggered fresh demand, and retro enthusiasts are now looking at ways of redressing their beloved systems in flashy, new, transparent clothing. There's one here of a Sega Genesis that's glass. People really want these transparent systems right now.
What?
Oh! They've got a clear PC engine there too.
Oh my god, dude! Oh, that glass Genesis looks fucking deadly.
It's almost more like it's crystal.
Don't even talk to me about the PC engine.
Okay, this was just a teaser. I have no places to click to give you more information on this. Actually, that's a lie. This is an early bird pre-order stage. They're only going to manufacture when they hit 500 sets of SNES cases. I don't buy your pre-order. What? I'm really confused. Okay, I can click a buy now here. I'm just doing this to see the price. They want $120 for this.
It's not bad.
No. Not at all. I love it. I want to see more stuff like this. But there's really not much to tell here. And actually, I'm going to link this in the stream chat here. And if Mr. O-Dubs would like to pick it up and put it in the transcription for the podcast from there, hopefully some of you in the audience who are interested in this will be able to get a hold of these and can tell us about them. I got another little teaser here for you. Do your wallets hurt yet? Oh wait, nothing's had a price tag.
No, before you get ahead of yourself, just to answer or say something in regards to Mr. Game Hunter's yay region specific console variants. Aha! You can get TVs that are multi-region. Which means you can hook up any console you want. It's something I plan on getting myself in the future because I do want to use the systems that I have. I don't have too many that are Japanese, like I have an N64 and a Super Famicom. But yeah, it still would be nice to be able to play any of those consoles like PAL and stuff. Because, again, there's variants of PAL stuff as well that you can get. But anyways, yeah. There's a way to play region-specific consoles if you really wanted to. So, this Asian side.
Yep. Don't give up. If you want to play stuff from a different region, there are ways. This isn't really going to be an article we talk about. I'm literally just going to tell you Taito released a Bobble genuine arcade classic mini. It's a 1/4 scale. They want 180 American. Which for some of these is pretty cheap. I've seen some of these going for 360 in America. Some of these smaller version arcade cabinets. I still think it's a little on the expensive side. Knock $20-$30 off there, and that's a more friendly price for people.
Honestly, it's nice and all. It's a new thing. Do you need to spend $180 on this mini arcade? Think about it for a second, people. If you already have an NES, you can probably get the actual Bobble game for much cheaper. The second thing is, if you're willing to spend $200 on this, why not just spend like $1,000 or so on the arcade cabinet?
Yeah, the actual old school.
Or have someone make you a MAME arcade cabinet and you can play whatever you want plus Bobble. You can even get them. You can even get the stickers and marquees so that you can make the thing look like it's a Bobble arcade machine, but it's a MAME cabinet. So
yes, my big problem about this is that price tag is really high for one game. Like if there were a pair of games or like 4 or 5 games even, that would be so much better.
Yeah, and that's why the one-up arcades are so much nicer because of that feature. Because, okay, I'm going to go spend like $300 or $400 on an arcade cabinet. It's like, yeah, but you're not just getting one game at least. Like, as a collector, yes, it'd be great. I would love to have like a Pac-Man or Donkey Kong arcade cabinet because, well, they're rare and everyone wants them and they're expensive. But I'm fine with a MAME arcade. There's a lot of that stuff that is fun. Like, I'm not very fussy over the arcade cabinets themselves. Like, you can change those if you really want to, but it'd be really nice to have an original, obviously, as well. So, I mean, anyways.
Yeah, it's not super a lot to talk about, but I do like seeing arcade reproductions.
Yeah.
I really do. There's a lot of culture there, and it's being kept alive. So thumbs up to that part of it. I'm not always going to be happy about the price tag, though, and I agree with Stefan making sure to be like, hey, no, there's other ways to get this one. That's for sure a good thing to mention there.
Again, the one-up arcades it makes more sense. Yes, they're a little bit more costly, but they're big enough that you can stand up and use them like a regular arcade, especially with the lift that you can buy for them. And on top of it, like I said, they usually come with more than one game. A lot of those ones that are like, as an example, I'm not sure if this is the case or not, but as an example, if it was, say, Centipede, you probably get Centipede and Pac-Man and like a bunch of different games, so that you wouldn't just be left with that. Like the one that they done for X-Men was fantastic. They need to do a Mortal Kombat one.
That'd be awesome.
Anyways.
Hey guys, you want to hear about a 1999 interview?
Sure.
In 99, Miyamoto, in an interview, suggests that he was thinking about the Wii during the N64 era.
Jesus.
Now, I read this ahead of time, and part of this to me, I'm going to call blatant speculation, but maybe they understand things better than I do, so take that aspect of things with a grain of salt as we go through here. Nintendo is a company that famously doesn't play by the rules. During its time in the video game arena, the Kyoto firm has been a trendsetter rather than a follower of fashion. And no machine sums up its unique approach more clearly than the Wii. Released at a time when Sony and Microsoft were engaged in a full-blown hardware war, the Wii was remarkable in that it harnessed cheaper tech and fused it with a revolutionary motion sensing control system, a setup which allowed it to beat both the PS3 and the Xbox 360 in total sales and reach a whole new audience of players. It would seem that Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto was mulling over such a project long before the Wii's 2006 release date. Speaking to Gamers Republic magazine in November '99, Miyamoto was asked what he believed would be the next step in player interaction, and how much longer he thought games could just be about people simply moving little sticks around and pressing buttons. Okay, this is a little more specific now, and I understand. I didn't read what he was asked, and that gives all the context I need. So, Miyamoto replied, I think it's a good and important point. Good and important point. Games are intended for everybody to enjoy. However, looking at the current game market, games are becoming unfriendly for beginners. It is important we keep creating something new for everybody, not just for hardcore gamers. The role of Nintendo is to provide new entertainment for everybody. Although it is in fact a part of Nintendo's responsibility to also provide new games to those hardcore gamers, we should instead always think about new entertainment possibilities for everybody. Yeah, if he's saying that in response to that question, it does kind of sound like he's talking about the Switch before the Switch, or not the Switch, excuse me, the Wii. And I did this earlier too when I was talking about this. My apologies. We already know that Nintendo was experimenting with Wii-style control interfaces during the GameCube period. Yeah, because they wanted to call the GameCube the Revolution, and then they kind of took all that crazier stuff and said, we're going to do that next time. I remember that. I really remember that. These comments, as vague as they are, suggest that the idea for an interface that could be picked up and used by anyone was already fermenting in Miyamoto's brain as early as '99. While you could argue that the Wii was a blip rather than a full-blown revolution, motion control remains a part of Nintendo's offering, with the Switch Joy-Con replicating a similar control option. It's kind of crazy. You could imagine where gaming might be if he'd gone for that sooner. Like I was saying about during the Nintendo Revolution days of the GameCube. That could have been really interesting.
Well, see, the thing is that people didn't want to be active back then. People didn't care about running and hiking and look at my Instagram, my pictures of me on a mountain with my tits hanging out, or like that's what people are into now. So I mean, if it was done a few years later, focused on that, then it might have made more sense, because they might have been able to grab more people with the Wii Fit and that kind of stuff, and they might have been able to have a 1-to-1 ratio, so that when Skyward Sword came out, no one would have had complaints about it the first time around.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about. But I mean, we are where we are. That article mostly leads to speculation either way you look at it, but it's still interesting to know that those kinds of things were going on. You're kind of, I don't want to say in the background, but maybe not in the spotlight, This next product kind of caught me by surprise, kind of moving on from Miyamoto-san there.
Now these I like a lot, because they're usually not... Oh, God, never mind. Read it. Just, yeah.
So Sega's Astro City Mini is getting a release in the West. Now confirmed for NA and UK. There's no NA prices here. So this is a Sega arcade console. It has Allen Syndrome, Allen Storm, Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder, Columns 2, Dark Edge.
Did you say that first game again?
Alien Swarm.
Okay, I don't know why you're saying Allen. I'm like, Allen Syndrome, Allen Storm. Like, who the fuck is Allen? Who are they?
I don't know. I was just reading what I saw.
Where did he get those host of games? I wish that I had some of those. Shit.
Dark Edge, Puzzle and Action, Tanter, Virtua Fighter.
Oh, okay.
Altered Beasts, Scramble Spirits, Ninja Princess, Arabian Fight, Sonic Boom, Stack Columns, Flicky, Quartet 2, Puyo Puyo Su, Thunder Force AC, Alex Kidd The Lost Stars, Rad Mobile, Space Harrier, Seishun Scandal, My Hero, Dotori-kun, Dot Race, Bonanza Bros, Columns, Cotton, Crackdown, E-SWAT, Gain Ground, Ichidant R, Puyo Puyo, Shadow Dancer, Shinobi, Wonder Boy in Monsterland, Wonder Boy 3, Monster Lair. You can get your hands on all those games in a fancy mini arcade cabinet for 130 euros.
No, 130 US dollars.
Where? What?
Physical distribution specialist limited run games has announced pre-orders for this mini arcade unit will open the 26th of March for $130 US.
Oh, okay. That's not terrible.
No, now first, when I first seen this, the reason why I was like, it was the fact I thought it was one game.
There's 37 games.
Yeah, I know. Now that I know that, I'm like, oh yeah. But again, you have to still remember, it is still a tiny arcade system. It is still a tiny screen, but it's still fun. It's like playing with a mini arcade stick on a Game Boy screen. So take that as it is. But there's a lot of good games, though, dude. A lot of good games. They weren't fooling around when they chose those games.
I'm sorry. I'm just seeing the Game Hunter typing. Did I hear Allen Syndrome?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I need clips of this now. I didn't know I did, but now I do. Alright. Didn't really mean to hang on to this one too long. Price point, number of games. Yeah, that's about it. So, do you remember how we were talking about expensive things earlier in the podcast?
Oh, God.
This is gonna piss me off some more. So this sealed Super Mario Bros. Could become the most expensive video game collectible ever, eclipsing even the Nintendo PlayStation. They're gonna ask a question here, and we weren't following this, so let's just do this. Remember last year when we reported that a sealed copy of Super Mario Bros. On the NES sold for an eye-watering $114K at auction?
Yes, we covered it on the podcast.
Oh, did we? I may not have been around for that one specifically. No. Well, there's another copy being auctioned at the moment, which currently stands at $310,000 with 7 days to go. This article isn't even dated. I'm mildly concerned. Oh no, this was today. Just a little after noon. For the sake of comparison, there are 40.24 million copies of Super Mario Bros. In the world, not including the re-releases. Not including. So the fact that this is going to go at this price has everything to do with the fact that it is sealed. This is a mint condition copy of the game, and you know how gamers are. I can't believe this. I'm actually mad about this. This is wrong. It even says there are 40,240,000 copies of the game in the world re-releasing. This is excessive in every form of thought. There's no reason that a copy should have ever sold for the 114K. To be honest, at the end of the day, I don't think you should be able to sell it for more than 10K. And even that's pushing it. 5K, 1K, somewhere in that range, maybe. You might get me to agree to that. But never this. This is... In no universe is a single copy of any game worth $310,000 in any condition. It's just not.
Unless there was a prototype game that was made that was so incredible that it made like an RPG or something that was the story and gameplay was so good that it made Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger look terrible. Like if it was something like that, maybe like only one in existence, sure. But even then, like Jesus, man, like
there are degrees of excessive, and this goes. This is a power. I don't know what power excessiveness this is, but it's up there. Gamers beware. It might be worth a lot, but don't let it be worth this much. You don't have to let it be worth this much, okay?
Yo.
We control that value. That's for us to decide. And at the end of the day, we should all be deciding that that's a little too much. A lot too much. Well, that's all my Nintendo Life news. That was the powerhouse for me this week. There's some interesting stuff. There's some brutal stuff. I can't believe that last article.
It happens, dude. People have money to spend. That's what I'm saying. Like, someone out there is just like, oh, well, it's in mint conditions. Like, dude, you probably bought one off of somebody else for like a couple $1,000 instead of $310. Like, is it just so that you can say, I'm the idiot who paid this much money for a fucking game that I'm never going to open? Like, I mean, again, I understand, but, like, dude, like, just give me $300,000. Keep $10,000. Get yourself, like, even better. Just fucking, you keep the $300,000. Give me 10 so I can just finish my fucking, get a good chunk of my game collection done. And then, like, for one game, and I'm like, man, it's just fucking, I'm done with this, Steve. Get me the fuck out of here.
Alright, we're going over to TiwtchSource.
Jesus
We're going to look at an Android game real quick here. There is a little 10-second video if you'd like to take a look. It's a exciting infinite platformer running game where you can become the best, jump, collect coins, and come to be the best player on the online leaderboards. It's COME, calm down.
I know, but the way you like accentuate and come, like,
so this game it's actually been around since Halloween of last year, but I know people might have a platformer fix problem, and they might just want to infinitely jump for a while. You know, this might be their thing. From the gameplay I saw, it looks fun and interesting, but I don't think I would stay entertained long. But I looked at it and I thought, there's someone out there who's going to love the crap out of this, and I should share it.
Yeah, play Square the game.
Except it's not Geometry Dash because it's going upwards. LOL. That's another interesting aspect. You're running up walls and jumping upwards.
So what you're saying is this is Geometry Ascend.
Yes, there you go. That's right. This wasn't really a whole lot to talk about here. It's just an interesting little 5-seconder. Like I said, someone out there is going to enjoy the heck out of this, and I do like, even if the games don't seem as good from the Android market, sometimes I want to bring at least something to you, and that one called out for a little bit of attention. Just a little. This next one is actually a lot more interesting to me. Unfortunately, all we have about Vigilance is a little detail and a minute of footage here. So apparently this is a cyberpunk bounty hunting game, and from the clip that they show, it looks like you can actually go out of your body and look around as if you were a drone at things. It looks like you can interact with different like cameras and such, and even from that vantage point of up out of your body, you can look at people and see details about them. So there's really little on this game. But
hey, I noticed you have ass pockets.
Yes. I also love how when you go up out of yourself, everything freezes, and then you're like, oh look, there's this security guard. Yoink. Hey, time's moving again. They released this video 4 days ago, and I want to see more of this. I'm not necessarily sure what this is going to be yet, or how in depth the gameplay is going to intend to be, but it looks intriguing, to say the least. It's really frustrating when I don't have much to tell you. The graphics look nice. It's very bright and cyberpunky.
Very cyberpunky. Booster.
LOL. Well, that's enough about that little one. Now the one that I really liked out of the batch that I found this week here on the TIG source. It's a very pixelated game. It's called For Sparta.
Hold on a second. I must have clicked on the wrong link because I got the same one again. 1 second.
Did I do a wrong?
Oh yeah, you did. You gave me the same link for that one. For Sparta. Yeah. Sorry, you can just send it over to me. It's not a big deal.
Here you go. I even asked if I did anything wrong. I looked at it and I had no idea.
How am I supposed to?
You're right, you're not. Especially when those links are numbers. So just the first little image, it's a pixel game, and it looks beautiful in that image. The gameplay, of course, doesn't look this good, but this is a single screen roguelike. So the whole concept is you're supposed to be the last man standing. They say one screen roguelike, but really this is an arena game. So you have your roguelike set of rules and stats and stuff, and then you're playing an arena with a certain set of rules each time the map is spawned. Like one time there I saw that there was some water in the middle. So there's more than one style of gameplay, it looks like. There are 40 plus enemies, it says here. And the art style looks great. It doesn't look as good as that screenshot that they show at the top there, but there is a lot of detail in some of this pixel work, and I really like it. 200 gameplay changing items. I'm not sure what that means. So it's a fast and fluid top-down combat for our listeners. It features simple combat controls to make it super fun to play. It's an arcade-like arena fight. See, that's what I was saying. Discover new attacks that combine with your items and make each run unique. Okay, that's interesting. Full controller and keyboard and mouse support. Very nice. Easy to play, but hard to master. Attack, dodge, kill, die, learn, repeat. Score attack. How many days can you survive? How many Persians can you defeat? Better than an adrenaline shot. For Sparta. For when you need to feel like it's you against the entire world.
That's what it feels like. I'm just a dude wearing underwear.
Yes. This is... Like I said, again, it's different. When it said single screen, I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily how I would describe it, but for what it is, that's an interesting and fun-sounding game. It's $2 right now on Steam.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Not at all. For what you're getting there, that's you're getting way more out of that than you would expect. All right, that brings us to our last game.
Our last bit of stuff.
Source.
Oh, that's right. We do have another one. My bad.
This one, however, I went and found on Twitch.io or itch.io. Why did I say? Found it on itch.io because there's a little more detail here, and I kind of like the way it's laid out here. So, it was 2 weeks ago I wanted to feature this on the spotlight. I'm going to be 100% honest. No, it was 3 weeks ago. That podcast didn't happen because we've been doing every other 2 weeks. Or every other week, excuse me. So, when I went back and looked at this again, I felt like I wanted to talk about it because the art style is really, really pretty. I don't really know much about the gameplay, but it features some things that a lot of people in this community are known to like. So let's just get into this here. There is a video there if you want to play it on the right side, Stefan, at the top. So this is called Beyond the Horizon. It's an epic role-playing game with 5 to 200 hours, LOL, of gameplay and a mystical story. It's based on a nature simulation that simulates climate, weather, soil, plants, and animals. It's a farm game with crafting and housing. It has a huge handmade, very lively, and ever-changing world. It includes large underground caves and catacombs with traps, puzzles, and many monsters. 5 weapon types, and a complex magic system, which was the one detail about this that kind of set it apart.
Okay.
It has many residents who go about their daily business and with whom you can talk and who let participate in their lives. So this is basically your farming sim, but there are 2 details that I want to throw out there that are completely different. One is the combat system, including in-depth magic, which includes potions. Not super different than most stuff, but the 2 things together is really nice. And then you throw in this like hand-painted digital art style. I've seen so many different trees. I've seen so many different trees in what they're showing here. It's just beautiful. It really looks like they took their time with some of those details. I'm looking at those trees again, and yeah, they look like some trees that I'd see in real life. And then you get the combat aspect going, and it's just like, this doesn't feel like most other farming games in the same vein, you know?
Yeah.
I love the art style. Like I said, I haven't heard too much of the music because, of course, I haven't played it. But it just looks like a really good game in this vein for $15. Don't forget you can fight dragons. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
A meteor, Jesus. The big ass meteor.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that aspect. There seems to be a late game, perhaps horror aspect, because the video seems to portray a meteor hitting the town. So, beyond the horizon, experience a mystical story, experience your story. $15 over on itch.io. Not much more I can say about this, other than I want to play it. So...
Don't you shut up now.
Wait.
Game Hunter. Oh, is there fishing? You shut up.
You know there's fishing.
No!
So, for my spotlight this week, I highly debated this, and I talked about it a bit. I wouldn't even be showing off this game, and you'll understand soon why I'm prefacing this. I wouldn't even be showing off this game if I thought that Nintendo and Game Freak had a serious claim to make this go away. So, Para Aspera, Xenoverse, Ad Astra. You're like, what are you talking about? This is Pokemon Xenoverse. This is coming from Italy by Weedle and his team. So it's a not so unusual story. You're searching for your father who disappeared into thin air. This becomes intertwined with a much more complex matter. Interdimensional faults have begun to become more and more frequent in the LD region, now invaded by the terrible Species X. The Xenoverse eclipse is now upon us, and the team dimension seems to have something to do with it. Will you be able to stop its sinister plots and maintain the balance between the Earth and Xenoverse, whose indissoluble bond has its roots in the past? So, they feature their own legendaries, and if you look at the picture at the top there's a Gengar in its own unique form.
Yeah, I thought that when I seen that. I was like, hey, isn't that a Gengar? And that there looks like one of the Plusle
The starters are unique.
Okay.
For example, the fire starter also has the typing sound. The water starter also has, I'm not sure what its second typing is, but the fire starter also has grass, and they have these inherently. So some of the things that they're doing specifically to not be seen like Pokemon exactly are changing the sprites of certain existing Pokemon and making their own legendaries and starters. This game I can't remember, maybe I was hearing there are features about this that are online, maybe I'm wrong, but there was two other things that I really wanted to mention here, and that is, this is a standalone game, much like what was that? Uranium? Yeah, that's the one. It was much like Uranium in that fact. But I really like to see the different typings and the unique mons. This is... The last thing I'll say is, like I said, I wouldn't have shown you this, guys, if I thought Nintendo and Game Freak were going to be able to successfully attack this. It's almost like generic Pokemon. Almost. It's close enough where I'm starting to think that maybe Nintendo should latch onto one they like and not let a bunch of others get developed. Cough, cough. Not that I'm saying that they should make those concepts canon and their thoughts, but give us...
Hey, they have a Legend of Zelda over a Legend of Zelda over a Legend of Zelda over a Legend of Zelda. If they can have multiple timelines and universes in that game, they can do that with Pokemon.
Exactly. Well, and this one is dealing specifically with the Xenoverse, so they could have their whole own line of games that Nintendo and Game Freak might still have a say over in a perfect world where they're like working together, but they'd still be able to do a lot of their own thing. And this is where I'm like, I can see this one being the one that they should grab onto and support. But we're going to see more of these, and they're going to be harder and harder and harder to be like, hey, we're IP owners, we don't like this. Because they're not using their legendaries, they're not using their starters.
And they're changing all the sprites. So, I mean, technically, it's
changing.
It's the same thing as if Nintendo walked over to Monster Ranch and be like, "Nah, you guys got monsters. Nope, can't do it. Not allowed."
Or if they did that to Digimon.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, they can't just do that to anyone. Now, when you're making a blatant Gengar with a mustache, hair, and a split head, like, I mean, come on. Even I seen that the first time I looked at it. I was like, whoa, is that a Gengar? And I was like, and I was trying to look for the word Pokemon there, and I was like, I don't think it's Pokemon. So I just waited until you got to it, because I wasn't sure exactly what it was, to be honest.
Yes, and see, I didn't want to spoil this, because this is fun and different. Even if this doesn't last a long time, I like to see this kind of stuff. When it's well thought out, and it looks like a good idea, heck yeah, let's let it get out there and let people see this.
Well, I've been saying that for years, is that, you know, instead of hiring a team, or instead of going through the trouble of shitting on someone who went through the time to make these games, why not hire them? Why not say, alright, make Pokemon Uranium for the fucking DS. Go.
Yep.
And they'll be like, wait, you're going to give me money that I was not going to get at all before by doing this for free. Now you're going to give me money to make sure that it works on your system, and then that's it? You're cool with that? Yeah, that'd be great. You can make us money. Sure. It works for both, parties involved, so I don't understand why.
Well, because they're not asking if they can use the IP, and IP holders get really upset about that. Intellectual property and copyright, we're getting it. Things like Pokemon push us closer to a heads. What is copyright? Why does someone need to control a copyright? Why can't we all benefit from what they're benefiting from in their copyright? But that is a discussion for not this podcast. Although it does have a lot to do with content that we discuss, so we might peripherally be there again in the future. However, this game and what we've discussed with it was the end of my portion of this podcast. So it's over to you, big guy. Why don't you take us all the way home from here?
Alright, well, we're going to switch out to my news, obviously, and properties, please. Thank you. Let's see. And of course, now it's not going to give me what I need. Typical.
Not like this. You got this. This
is
a flawless handover.
It happens all the time, dude.
I know. I'd also like to, in this interim, thank you Retro Dodo, thank you Nintendo Life, and thank you TiwtchGemz Forums. You give me life on this platform, and without you, I wouldn't have awesome stuff to share with people. So, I got Jeremy to download Xenoverse.
And so happy. Again, I don't know why it's being weird. It does not want to see that window for some reason.
Huh? That's so weird.
This fucking window, okay? Let's close the other one if you're gonna be a bitch about it. Fucking this one. Fuck's sakes. There, finally. Jesus. I'm getting fed up with Streamlabs. Jesus Christ. Anyways. Without further ado, let's get into my stuff. I don't have a terrible amount this week. I kind of limited it a little bit, and that's fine because we're already up to an hour and 45. So we're starting off with our first game in the best of Steam. It's called Sannabi, the Revenant. Sannabi is an exhilarating, stylish, dystopian action platformer. Play as a legendary retired veteran and use your signature prosthetic arm to jump over cliffs and skyscrapers, zip through bullets and traps, and defeat powerful enemies. It's to be announced. It's an action-adventure platform. Okay, that was a little bit redundant, guys. Come on now. And let's watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh. Whoa! Okay. It's fast-paced.
Fast-paced, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Hello, wish list.
I love the atmosphere. Okay, whoa. Oh, it feels like speedrunners, lol. Or Bionic Commando, whichever you're used to.
Definitely get that speed.
But it looks like it has a Celeste kind of feel to it, though.
Yeah, I was seeing that too.
Yeah, wish listing.
Yeah, really pretty. Really
looks fun.
mechanically complex, but looks smooth and fun to play. Yes. Yes.
Game Hunter, it's one of the things I'm good at. I can find good games to play. Whoa, okay. My God, it's so fast-paced, but it's like, for those listening, it's heavy platforming, and you use like this. If you've ever played Bionic Commando or Speedrunners, which is like where you have a hook, it's a lot like that. So you can hook onto stuff, and of course you go in a circular motion kind of thing. But you can use it to propel yourself and slow yourself down, etc., etc. So
Smooth. We watched a whole 2 minutes on this because it just looks that good.
you really do.
Oh, the pro tags.
Oh, apparently Wonder Potion has made 2 other games that we featured. Let's see, Dandy Ace. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. The developer's playing that right now. Oh, Skull we've covered. Metal Unit we've covered. Yep. All right. And upcoming 8 Doors, which we've covered. And Blade Assault, which we've also covered. All right, so we're starting to see that NeoWiz is making some games that we enjoy. They might go into the list of developers that we keep an eye on, like Mega Cat and Jesus, I'm trying to think of the other big company that we always watch now. I'm totally having a brain fart.
I'm not thinking clearly at the moment either.
Oh, Dungeon Entertainment. My bad.
There it is.
Yeah. Alright, moving on. We have another interesting game that you might actually enjoy as well, Mr. Six. It's called Worldbox God Simulator. Worldbox is an ultimate god simulator and sandbox game. Create your own world or destroy it using different powers. Watch civilizations grow, form kingdoms, colonize new lands, and sail to far continents. Towns will rebel, empires will fall. It's your choice to help or watch them fight. Simulation, god game, sandbox, indie, retro. Let's watch the trailer.
Wishlisted again. Wait, I can't do that.
I added it to mine as well.
This is... I want...
Damn.
Oh, don't do that. Why would you do... What? Ultimate God Simulator. Yes. You can literally build the world?
Yeah.
Okay. Unwishlisting, rewishlisting, unwishlisting, rewishlisting. There we go. I did it like a billion times.
It's not Instagram. What are you doing? Whoa! Whoa! Acid rain, lightning, and drought, tornado. Oh my god!
You know what this reminds me of? The original SimCity, to a degree.
I guess so.
With the disasters and the civilizations.
Oh shit.
Yeah, can confirm this will be played on the Six Dead Irish channel.
Yeah, I could see me playing this as well. Jesus, man. This is what I'm talking about. Like, there's times that I feel like I want to be a permanent streamer so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Not right now.
Anyway.
Just to throw them off. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
Our next game is called RTO Tales of the Darklands Deluxe Edition. This is coming out on the 27th of March 2021. RTO Deluxe Edition platform action retro 16-bit style. That's all the information they have for us. Action adventure, action adventure. What's up with these games being action adventure and action adventure?
Either the tags are together or they're separate. You can't have them together and separate.
Oh, you can. Let's watch the video, see what this is about. Oh, looks visually appealing so far. Oh, okay. Okay. Whoa, big ass dragon. Oh, boss fights. Alright.
Wishlisted.
You guys didn't give us much, but I'll wishlist that. That looks alright.
That gameplay is solid. The art style is solid.
Well, the jumping looks a little herky-gurk, but other than that, it looks pretty good.
That's fair.
It's hard to describe, and I know that some people are listening to the podcast and are all like, what the fuck are you... Look, okay, I know the name of the game now, but... I mean, you can always go and watch it as you're listening sometimes. But I know some people are doing stuff while they're listening, so... It's hard to describe. It's... medieval... I don't even know what the hell you call it, because it's very... It's darkly Castlevania, but like it's very platformy like Castlevania, but the character is in like full metal armor, and there's one thing that shows like a dragon shooting off a laser beam from its mouth, but you can shoot lasers and stuff. It's
Maybe the Metroidvania tag applies here.
You could be now, but do you come back through any of the levels? Like, do you have to backtrack? Because that's the big thing with Metroidvanias is getting new powers so you can go back into a level and be like, oh wait, I couldn't get here before, now I can. And then you open up new areas and stuff. So, but no, it's a fun platform.
Us enough to know, so unfortunately.
But yeah, RTO Tales of the Darklands Deluxe Edition. Go give that a look. And we have one last game in the best of Steam this week called Late Rebirth. Late Rebirth is a cyberpunk story set in the setting of the Soviet Union after a global nuclear war. You have to guide the main character through the gloomy tunnels in which the struggle for life is in full swing. This comes out on the 9th of April 2021. Adventure RPG, story-rich, 2D, atmospheric. Let's watch the trailer. Okay. Okay, it looks like it might be more point-and-click type of game, which will definitely be up Six's alley. Oh, definitely. Whoa, okay.
I really like this style of game. Wishlisted. Looks like another game I'd play. What's going on?
Yeah, for sure.
Why are you doing this?
Listen, that's just how I do. I find good games, and if there's some that I see there that are specifically keyed towards you, then you're going to see them. Yeah, it didn't look like there was too much actual action. It was mostly a lot of text and moving around. Some of the puzzles, like there was one where it was a circuit board where you had to put pieces back on, like microchips and that kind of stuff. So it looked kind of fun, but like I said, it's a very point and click.
It says that there are RPG mechanics, and it says that it's story rich, but it doesn't say that the anything about the point and click aspects, which we definitely saw some of there. So
that's what it seems like, anyways. So yeah. All right, and now we're going to move into our indie retro news this week. I only took 3 segments that I found very interesting. First one is Boss Machine. Upcoming Amiga shoot 'em up by Kevin Saunders and team gets another tease, and it looks good. Let's watch. Yet another shoot 'em up is about. Oh, this is only 54 seconds. About to grace our home computers, as thanks to a heads up in the Commodore Amiga Facebook group, we've been told that the cool-looking shoot 'em up of Boss Machine has been teased again with new footage. As mentioned by our previous write-ups, Boss Machine is a high-quality Amiga AGA game that is developed by Daniel Stevens, Kevin Saunders, and Lee Smith. Boss Machine is an upcoming Amiga game that is being created with an aim for a Thunder Force 4 style shooter, as seen on Mega Drive Genesis, which they hope to push the Amiga's limits using vertical scroll with lots of horizontal screens. That's some fast-moving stuff right there. It's very Flintstones, though. Please note.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is it's the same
background over and over, yeah.
But really fast in the foreground and kind of slow in the background. That's really interesting the way that.
Well, it gives more depth then too, right?
Okay, yeah.
Please note in regards to the screenshots and or footage, the game is always being updated, and what you see at this time may look very different to the finished product. Keep that in mind. So it looks like a very fast-paced shoot 'em up, and looks very good for the Amiga as well. So something to look forward to once it actually gets finished. I'm sure we'll be covering it. Next up, we have Soulless 2, action-adventure sequel in development for the C64 with brand new hand cam footage. Oh, let's have a look. Oh, here we go. Oh, and it's fast-paced too. That's good. Almost Prince of Persia-like. We've certainly had our fair share of awesome C64 game announcements this year. Well, with the upcoming release of a Pig Quest, a work in progress, Another World, and La Baie de Mort going free. But now another announcement has just graced our inbox as the team behind Organism, Rocky Memphis, The Legend of Atlantis, and Battle Kingdom, who we know as Icon 64, has shown off some brand new handcam footage of their upcoming game, Soulless 2. Soulless 2 is the sequel to Soulless, and unlike the first game, this one is more Anteriad and less Draconis, an impossible mission that was seen in the first game. Features multiple areas, including forests and temples, different deadly enemy types, and plenty of blasting action to be had. As for the footage above, or linked here, with a hyperlink, the team was keen to show out the latest developments for the temple level.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it's very flowing and nice. Like, you could probably... Like, this is very close to NES speeds, I would probably say.
Probably put a lot more in there, too, and not have too much problems from the look of it.
Yep.
Doesn't look overtaxed at all.
No. Looks very nice, actually. Oh, boss fight.
What we got?
So he's not too...
Oh, pickups. Okay, so this definitely feels very Metroidvania. Because it looks like you have
Whoa!
different abilities and then the health bar. Is that a suit?
Oh, yeah! Oh, shit. Okay. Okay.
Alright.
Things changed.
Wow, they changed a lot. That is very something. I can't call that much Metroidvania anymore.
Oh, you can only go certain places with the suit, I guess. But you're right, it's very Metroidvania in that aspect then, if you can use that thing to get to new areas.
Oh man, yeah. I want this game. Anybody who can't see this, listening to the podcast later, you should go take a look at this.
Yeah, this is actually quite nice for C64. Like we were saying, this is very, very Metroidvania.
Holy crap. Basically, the suit you got, it's like a jetpack, but you can't shoot anything with it. So this isn't a weapons platform or anything. It's literally just mobility, and you got to get out of it to shoot again.
Yeah.
Which, as far as a gameplay mechanic goes, that's different and nice, because in a lot of these areas that you're moving through with it, there don't seem to be a lot of enemies.
Now he just collected the armor gun, so now he can shoot with the armor on.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There we
All
go.
right.
Oh, now he's going to get another new thing. What is this one?
Oh.
Oh. Looked like the wall stopped and that's the end of it. That was a 3.5-minute video and we were enthralled the entire time.
Yeah, well, because it made us think of Metroidvania, and then its pacing was quick enough to keep us entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want to check that out for yourself, I would highly recommend.
Mm-hmm. Alright. The last article we have here from Indie Retro News this week is Danterrifik III, another hellish ZX Spectrum sequel from Tokusoft. Start up the video here real quick. And close off the ad. Alright, so welcome to a new week. A new week full of awesome retro games for a multitude of systems. The second game to experience, and yet again straight out to the Tokusoft headquarters, is a sequel to their previous game called Danterrifik III. A new ZX Spectrum game which doesn't just feature lots of very challenging levels, but there's deadly enemies, nasty traps, and if you're smart enough, you might keep all of your 99 lives. Whoa. So you're limited to your life. You have a lot, but you're limited. In this game, you play as Dan, a person who will face all kinds of physical and mental torture throughout the evil Dantemonium Cathedral. Beware, however, this won't be easy, as the place is full of all kinds of monstrosities and despicable beings that are housed within. Have also paid for their actions in the past. These are the words of the High Priest of the German Catholic Church. Regain your identity and find out what happened to you. Oh, so you're a skeleton in this game. So it looks like it's a difficult platformer where you play as a skeleton, obviously trying to find out what happened to you. Oh, wow. And yeah, obviously you have 99 lives, and I guess you have to finish the game with that set amount.
So the game is in a lovely monochrome, and it also features a red. The graphics are a little lackluster because of that monochrome.
Yeah, but no, that's ZX Spectrum really to begin with anyways. So, I mean, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, it looks... this is why I like ZX Spectrum, because it looks very simplistic, but the gameplay looks solid, and it's fast enough to keep me interested, at least.
I didn't say I disliked it for those reasons. I was just trying to paint a picture, as it were.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Wow. This very much feels like a very old-school platformer.
You have to win the game or super win the game is what it kind of reminds me of. With these like little one-screen places.
This vaguely reminds me of some platforming thing I did on DOS for some reason. Or maybe it's implanting false memories. I don't know. I'm just going to be random like that. But yeah, no. It feels like very old school for me for some reason. Those bubbles. It's a lot of different screens, and because of the monochrome, it's hard to tell sometimes. Oh. I think Stefan was hoping to see a boss fight here.
No, I don't expect any bosses, to be honest with you. More probably hard puzzles in some spots to replace bosses, but that's about it.
Oh, yeah, for this specific game, I could totally understand that.
Alright, so this is a 5.5 minute video, and we're already up to 3.5 minutes, so...
I was going to say...
Alright, so we're going to move into our news now from Destructoid, starting with Rising Hell is a roguelite action platformer about battling to the top of a hellish tower. I've seen this game several times, and I was like, you know what? I'm finally going to cover it. Early access is wrapping up, and it's releasing on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch in mid-May. And I'm also fairly sure that we've covered this once before, so we're going to cover it again by just showing the trailer. And it's very heavy metal, by the way, so if you're into heavy metal music, you'll like this game.
It's a $10 game on Steam.
Yeah, it's not super expensive. But if anyone has watched me play Downwell, it's almost like the opposite. Instead of going down, you're going up constantly.
Oh, cool. The music is awesome. I have to stop listening right now. Wish list. He keeps doing this to me every podcast. It's like every game
Dude,
covers our wish list.
Where have you been the past 2 years? This is what the podcast is all about. It's all about making sure indie developers get money from us.
Apparently. I've been here this whole time and did not notice. That's 6 of Cyrus coming at you from under the rock. It's right up there.
Well, now that you're a part of the podcast, you have no choice but to take it.
Yeah, well, that stuff's coming through the computer out from outside of the rock. It's kind of scary, but you know, we're dealing with it. This game looks fun.
Yeah. It reminds me of an Ascension Dead Cells kind of thing.
Yeah,
like the
I can see
gameplay.
what you're thinking there. Yeah.
Now, there's not much Metroidvania to it like Dead Cells has, or like it doesn't look like there's a ton of weapons, maybe, but that whole, like, the action itself of fighting is very Dead Cells-like. I like that.
Yeah.
Alright, you always got to include it seems, so. New Animal Crossing New Horizons tool lets you create virtual island tours. Nook Inc. is branching into marketing. If you had trouble getting people to visit your Animal Crossing New Horizons island, Nintendo's new tool might be just the thing you need. Today, Nintendo launched the Island Tour Creator, a special website that lets you produce posters and trailers for your Animal Crossing island using screenshots and videos you've taken. Now, all those beautiful gardens and perfect visualizations of rainy streets can be captured in a single video and shared on Twitter. All you need is some media to work with and a smartphone. Through the screenshots and videos, though the screenshots and videos will need to be on your smartphone. Thankfully, the send to smartphone option has made this process much easier than it would have been before, and Nintendo included a handy tutorial for how to go through the process. Excuse me. It's now somehow been a full year since Animal Crossing New Horizons debuted on Nintendo Switch and became a bright light in an otherwise stressful and worrisome time. It became a simply massive game and almost a facet to everyday life. I shared turnip prices, went on tours, visited friends' islands, attended social events through Animal Crossing. I've since lapsed in playing and let my island fall to shambles, but maybe this new tool will be enough of an excuse to clean up, renovate, and get some new visitors on the island. Everyone's welcome except for that nightmare of a bunny, which is the Easter Bunny. And I'm sure this doesn't need to be said, but for our community, I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting back into it. I will be doing a Switch night where I'm going to be, playing Switch games. I may make it so that I play an hour of Animal Crossing every time and then play some whatever else. Usually shiny hunting witches because I'm addicted. I'm not going to lie. I'm addicted to hunting shiny Pokemon.
I hesitate to announce this here, but I may be getting a copy of the game made available to me.
What, Animal Crossing?
So, yes, I may have my own island on my Switch Lite in the near future.
Which means that Steve is going to need some friends and accompaniment while he's working on his island and getting things up to snuff. So that's cool. I'm sure we can help with that. And there's obviously going to be a lot that we haven't done for the people who have missed it throughout the entire time that we've failed to play. So that's something to look forward on our side as well in the near future, because I've been missing it, I'm not going to lie. We used to play it religiously for a while. Like every morning I'd get up and start playing. So
it's kind of funny for me because both my best friend and my mother have better islands than me, because I had to share an island and I lost interest very quickly. So,
yeah. Now that if you're going to be getting your own island, right?
That's going to be hype.
All right. Last thing we have here. Who wants to spend more money? It doesn't matter, because guess what? Steve already covered it.
What?
It's the limited run games for the Sega Astro City Minis arcade cabinet.
Oh,
I forgot that I had that loaded up.
There's only 3,500 copies being sold, though.
Apparently, that's information we didn't have.
Yes.
Might prove difficult. Only 3,500 being produced with English packaging. Mini Machine has a 16:9 LCD screen, headphone jack, and HDMI out. That was some more information we did not get. So, HDMI out, that's nice. That basically turns that arcade into a big clunky controller, but that's fine. Now you can play it on a big screen. That's cool with me. I like that. That's a great feature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they have a rear shot of it. There's a bunch of ports on that. There's 2 USBs on it.
Oh, wow.
There's power. There's obviously a battery pack back there. Fucking open image in a new tab, man. Here we go. Yeah, so I don't know if that's Ethernet or what that is there. That's power. USB, HDMI. Is that micro HDMI or something? What is that?
Is that USB 3.0s?
I'm not sure, but another question would be, yes, this looks like a battery pack. What's this one up here?
Is that SPDIF?
Good evening, Mr. DMP. You've made it in time for the end of the podcast.
The end of the cast.
We just have 2 Kickstarters left, which we'll get into, and of course, let's refresh them, because God knows that we can't have Kickstarters there immediately. It's going to show you what we're looking at. The first one's called The First Project, a new cartridge sci-fi game 2021. It's a new cartridge sci-fi game based on a novel by Teddy Toussaint, Le Premier Projet, which is the first project. They are only looking for $2,230. They've well went over their goal. They're at $6,618 with 33 days to go. Wait, is there no... No! How is there not a fucking trailer, man?
A new cartridge sci-fi game? I was busy interacting in chat. I may have misheard some things there. I want this.
I'm Teddy, a solo game dev and sci-fi writer from France, nearby Toulouse. You can check the website about me, and you can follow me on Twitter. I want my book, Le Premier Projet, to become a video game, so I started to learn about Game Boy Studio to create Game Boy compatible games. We still don't have too much here. Development status at the end. It's at the end of the 21st century. Earth is polluted and overpopulated. Humans live in a massive space stations network, the Vault. Oh, this isn't too bad looking. Dan works for Rewall, the company which privatizes life on Earth. During a mission, he will meet something that will change his life forever. If goal is reached, 3 chapters will be included. Chapter 1, Kerguelen. Chapter 2, Ascent 1 Station. Chapter 3, The Edge. And it looks like it's actually running fairly well, too. And they're, even their pixel art, like, it's fairly basic, but it gets across exactly what you need to know, what's going on there.
I really like those graphics.
If the goal reaches...
release this on GBA?
As a cart, yeah. And if the goal reaches more than 3,000, a box game for all pledges with cartridge, plastic case, ecological cardboard box, FSC plastic case sized, and adding 2 chapters. So
Whoa.
the Edge will be Chapter 5, and Chapter 3 will be Destiny, Martian Colony. Chapter 4 will be the Ocean Planet. So we're going to be definitely getting Chapter 5, or 5 chapters.
Yeah.
Now, they're not at 8,000 yet. They're at 6,000. So let's see what their goal is. If 8,000 happens, they're adding another chapter. Graphics and audio will be enhanced deeply with some help. At 10,000, the French book will be translated into English version of the first project in 2022. Oh, so that's nice. Doesn't look like they have a ton of tiers. That's good. Good job, Ted. So if €3 or more, $5 Canadian, you get a ROM file of the game.
What?
That's it.
Wow.
Not
That's
bad.
a really nice tier. I like. Hello, hi, perfect tier for poor people.
Exactly. ROM of the first projects and extras. Folder full of cool things about the game, making of pictures, backgrounds, sprites, etc. The cartridge version. Great cartridge and plastic case of the game. No box, inlay, or instruction booklet because it's the best for the planet. First Planet and the book, which is the French version of the book that he wrote. First project Exo Pack, ROM of the game and extra stuff, cartridge of the game and plastic case, original book French version only, a pins badge with the first project symbol to show you as a contributor, a replica of the Game Boy Color console with backlit screen. Wait, what? $150 is going to give you a Game Boy as well?
What? No way.
That's what it sounds like.
Link in chat, please.
Oh, please note this is not the original console for obvious reasons. More info. Okay.
Hello, I am to info.
I'm trying to get more info.
Please.
Hold on to your nuts, would you? This page is in another castle, so that does not work.
That page is in another castle. Alright, Nintendo Life, what is love? Don't hurt me.
It's somewhere around here, where in 2017 that they had a picture of this or something. I'm trying to see if I can find it there, but it might not even be available anymore. Anyway, so we can't really see. I don't know what link he was using there, but it's not working. But that's cool. It's obviously not an actual Game Boy, but something similar to it. Early access ROM on demand, 4x. 4 times May. You receive all previous stuff except you receive an early ROM version of the game. On demand, 4 times max. After that, you'll wait like the other backers. You receive the final version at the end. Okay, I guess there's early access ROM. Sorry. Why am I? First project premium pack. ROM of the game and extra stuff. Cartridge of the game in plastic case. Original book French version. Name and the credits. NBC in the game and named by you in chapter 2. Mail to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Aww.
And the last one is the first project founder pack. Early access ROM, final ROM of the game and extra stuff, special cartridge, premium translucide edition cartridge with an easy replaceable battery dedicated to you. The original book, French version, pins badge, your name in the credits, have a non-playable character in the game named by you and designed by you, and another thank you, express premium shipment from France. And that's it. That's, again, not too many tiers, not too much over-the-top crap, which is great. I think this person is hitting it directly on the head on how to do a good Kickstarter, in my opinion.
And it's a one-person Kickstarter, and it's this well thought out.
Yeah, and I mean the game, from what I see here in the game, it looks good.
So I have a question. After this Kickstarter goes away, will we have access to this page?
I'm not sure. Possibly.
because I'd like to be able to come back to this and look at the details of the game, what they gave us, and the tiers, and be like, this is what we thought was a good idea.
I agree, DMP. The only thing that's missing from this Kickstarter is a trailer. Now, don't get me wrong, some of the pictures here does help. Like it more or less shows some of the story. But again, all these pictures could have been shoved into a video file put at the very top.
That's good to know, DMP.
Yeah.
I might look further into this, though, because like I said, we've had a lot that we don't like, and we've had a very few that hit all the check boxes really nice, and, don't make you upset about anything. So, yeah, I definitely want to hear more about this game, and I don't necessarily want to say this is the formula, but we'll put it in the pile of this is how we want to see Kickstarters done in the future, for sure. Exactly.
Like, I don't understand these people who just think they're like, oh, well, if I give you 100 different tiers, it's like, I don't look for that many. It's just, why? 100%. Anything DMP does, I'm more than happy to cover it, dude. So yeah, this guy also says his mission is to keep alive the origin of portable video games. There are not many other projects developing for the console. The project brings new fun to the first extended portable system and to protect the continuity of new video games for old handheld consoles. So dude has and you can play in the Analog Pocket, which we've also covered.
Hey.
You can also play in the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, or Super Game Boy, and other consoles compatible with this type of cartridge.
He's definitely thought this all out.
And he's also worried about the environment and stuff like that. So this guy has a lot of good qualities to how he's got his Kickstarter set up there. Again, not asking for too much is also a big part of it too. I mean, if you're going to give someone what you're actually, projecting here, then yeah, it should be no trouble. Especially when people can buy the ROM for like $5. All right,
yeah,
that's a cheap, easy game to get, and like the card itself was what, $25, $38 Canadian. So I mean,
he doesn't want it to be a lot. He wants it to be affordable.
He's not greedy.
He wants to make an eco-friendly game.
Well, it's smart.
Crazy. It almost sounds like this might be like a year's worth of pay for him. It'd probably get him through a year or so, I would almost guess.
Yeah,
because
in
it's
France.
in euros.
It might not.
Is it expensive there? I don't know.
I would say, like a lot of places, I mean, France is a first world country kind of thing, so.
That's true. Maybe then all this money is going back into the project, I would say.
Well, it probably just covers the project and gives him a bit of extra pocket money anyways. He probably does this on the side for his own personal enjoyment.
Probably. It sounds like, because the game itself comes from a book, it sounds like.
Yeah, he wrote the book, so.
Yeah, so then he's going to want to make a game off. Yeah, this is a total passion project. This is like...
I think that's good. He's doing good, especially if he's already made his goal 3 times over. So,
yeah.
All right. So, last thing for tonight is our last Kickstarter, which is Stone Protectors, Sega Genesis unreleased game and DVD box set. It would be interesting. He said he wants to put out an English version as well.
If he reaches enough.
I think it's 8,000, so he's almost there. He's only 1,400 away or 1,300 away. All right, so Stone Protectors, as some of you may have heard before, this is the Trolls game that I believe there was a version out on the Sega Genesis to begin with, or maybe it was the NES, one or the other. Either way, this looks to be an unreleased version of the game and a DVD box set. So we actually have a trailer, so let's watch. Oh, God.
Comics TV presents The Stone Protectors. Niels, Chester, Clifford, Angus, and Maxwell are finally back. But they need your help. Having been fooled by their former manager, our guys are in deep debt. Only you, the true Stone Protector fans, can help them. Pledge now to let the band return in a fully digitally remastered DVD box set. This set is packed with all 13 episodes. And yes, this will include all the previously lost and never before
All right, good night, Liz.
adding over an hour of never-before-seen footage. But that's just the first chapter in this story. With your support, the boys can reach additional...
Whoa! Whoa!
When the story continues,
I love that you're getting a DVD box set here too. Please tell me the rewards aren't crappy on this. That's the next thing I need to know.
They have a Tiger version, but it looks like it's an actual game. Action figures.
A handheld video game.
Oh, I can't hear.
Sorry, I was excited about that. The game.
Will make a triumphant return as an animated series.
Oh.
The first episode of the second season. However, it all depends on you. So pledge now and do it straight hard.
So, what you might not have heard, Steve, is that they're saying that if they make their goal, they're going to restart the animated series with the release of episode 1 of season 2. That's actually kind of interesting. So, but yeah, they were looking for $37,711. They are very close at $33,436. They only have 6 days to go. 282 backers. So what? That's like $4,300. They're basically looking for.
Yeah.
To complete it. So yeah, it looks like they're trying to do a very 90s thing by having like a action figure set. There's a game. There's apparently a set of comics. Obviously, they're going to put out a DVD set of the first volume featuring all 13 episodes. Here are some of the stretch goals we have prepared for you. At $35K, new comic book that covers what happens after season 1. Motion comic version of the comic book, $60,000. Oh God, they've got high hopes. Digitally remastered Blu-ray special edition box set at $120K. A retro electronic handheld featuring a Stone Protectors video game at $185K. New action figure at $215K. New episode, 22 minutes of the Stone Protectors animated series at $615K. Alright. I understand what you guys want to do. And it's commendable. It looks like you have a shit ton of tears, which I'm not going to be happy with. You guys are very much assuming that this series is so fantastic that you're going to make over $500,000 on it. Any of these retro games that I've ever seen, and that probably all of you have ever seen on the podcast, if they're retro games like this, most times they're not going to come anywhere close to that. They're not going to come close to $100,000 most times, let alone $600,000. So they're very much like reaching on that, but like they're going to get lucky if they reach their $35,000 first stretch goal. And yeah, that's ooh. I mean, I commend you on trying to want that much, but it's not going to happen. So let's see the tier rewards. For $2 US or $3 Canadian, you can get the digital comic book. For $6 American, you can get digital comic book collection. The digital video game, see a digital copy of the Stone Protectors video game play on your PC for $10 American, not too bad. Digital projector, receive the comic book collection tier and digital video game. Oh, DVD box set, early bird. Receive all the digital comics, digital video game. Receive the Stone Protectors limited edition box set. Includes all 13 episodes. Entitles you to all digital stretch goals, and discontinued physical stretch goals. The box art will feature a limited art cover box for Kickstarter backers. Alright. Something else I have to interject with here. It's revival, but not worth 50k. If they don't meet their goal, I wouldn't be surprised, nor I. Yeah. So, okay. The word box set usually implies that there's multiple DVDs. So, if this show had 13 episodes, how are we getting a box set? That sounds like one DVD with extras all onto that one DVD with the 13 episodes. So, how is this a box set?
Blu-ray, it's the same thing, but they said DVD, didn't they?
Yeah, well, it doesn't even matter. Well, yeah, that's DVD, but still, like, box of what? You have 13 episodes. Maybe 2 DVDs, one with the episodes and one with, like, maybe they're remastered to 4K. I don't fuck.
Even if they were remastered to 4K.
So that was the early bird. The $40 is for your standard. $55 gets you a physical video game early bird. Oh. Physical version of the SNES or Sega Genesis Stone Protectors game. Game cartridges will be compatible with original SNES or Genesis consoles with some clone consoles. The game will come... Well, wait. Why some? It must have something in it that allows it or something, I guess. Game will come in a box with a color instruction manual, 11x7 poster exclusive to Kickstarter backers only. Hold up. Something else that just popped into my head. Oh, I just moved all that. So let's see. Physical video game, Stone Protectors Early Bird. Physical video game tier and DVD box set tier. Stone Protector. Huh? Add-ons. Collector's video cassettes 1 through 8. Collector's video cassettes 9 and 10. $7,500 US? What? One of the episodes only copy of the Rescue Panasonic D3 Master episodes 9 and 10 available for this order.
Alright, Stefan, I'm just gonna out and out say this. I'm sorry we covered this at this point.
Yeah, just hold on a second, Steve. I've got another thing to bring to light here in a moment. Collector's video cassette VIP for $10,000. Buzz. 3 episodes of a TV show that no one cared about is not worth $10,000. Again, like, you guys are really asking for a lot. So let's go back up here. Let's go back to our trailer here. Let's start it over. I'm going to mute this. I don't care if I listen to it. Alright, let's watch this again real quick. Alright? Alright, so here we go. We got the boys. They're doing they're playing their band. Yeah. Alright. Okay, let's skip ahead. Okay, they're still doing their band thing. Here's the DVD box set. Let's keep fast forwarding. Okay, never before aired episodes. Hour never before seen footage. All stuff that you can get at additional tiers to meet stretch goals of ridiculousness. Alright. Yeah, there's the show again, yeah. Alright, so, you know what we didn't get to see? Gameplay.
No gameplay. They're trying to give us unreleased games, and all they showed us was some questionable gameplay on what looked like an individual console cartridge situation.
So at this point, I don't know why you guys are getting any money if you don't want to show us the gameplay. And if it's the same game that we have a ROM of on the internet, then again, I'm very surprised. I guess there's some collectors who want a physical copy of this game that no one else has yet.
That's kind of weird.
But what it all comes down to is that your trailer has absolutely zero mention of the actual game other than, oh, you'll get it. Okay, alright. And the rest of the Kickstarter project, all they're talking about is their tiers. They're talking about the show and the comics. That's it. They literally, there is absolutely zero game footage.
Wow, is this one going in the top of the pile of how not to do a Kickstarter?
Yep. This is going to be one of those ones that, and the worst part is they almost are making their goal. They still have a week, like a little less than a week left to make this. And to me, again, guys, no offense, but you're really... I don't understand where you're getting the money and what game.
Maybe if you concentrated more on showing us the gameplay and showing us that aspect, the other things are the secondary.
So that's it. That's it for this week. We are done with that as well, because that was terrible. That actually was...
We had a great example before that. What's that?
Well, the one before it was so much better, like limited tiers, not asking for too much. Dude is environmentally friendly. Dude's worried about, retro games, not being released for those systems and stuff. Looks like it's pretty good. Everything's nice. I like that. It shows the game. He might not have had a trailer, but you know what? He had some GIFs up there of the game so that you could actually see some of the gameplay. That one had absolutely none at all. It was, here's the show that no one can... Like, again, okay, I'm sorry.
To be fair, they showed 5 seconds of that console individual cartridge thing. I would compare that to like a poker thing. That there was 5 seconds of gameplay on that, and it's hard to see on those things, even if it does have a lot of color, and it isn't just all one background. So I am gonna throw that out there that was a thing that I saw twice there, but that is nowhere near enough for something that is saying game first, series second.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it's in the gaming section, and like I almost, if I was an asshole, I would go through the trouble of reporting them. And be like, yeah, they're selling a game that they're not showing anyone. Yeah. I'm sure Kickstarter wouldn't care, but still, like, guys, it doesn't make sense to not put in some gameplay footage. So it is what it is. Anyways, that's it for us this week. Next week there might not be a podcast because I may be in the middle of getting ready to pack up a lot of stuff and move. We'll be moving soon, so the next couple of weeks could be suspect. Don't worry, the podcast isn't gone anywhere. It's just I'm getting a lot of shit sorted, so you'll have to deal with that for a little bit. I'm sure anyone who's following us, check Discord. Ask questions on the Discord, dude. Never worry about asking a stupid question or anything like that. There is no stupid questions. But thank you, DMP. Glad you could join us, dude. But hopefully next time we have a podcast, we'll have a little bit more. We still went for fairly long. It's still 2 hours and 37 minutes. Jesus. But,
we did our best with what we had.
Yeah, exactly. And it was more than what we had last week. Last week was not that good.
We wouldn't have gotten 2.5 hours. I'm not sure we would have got 2 hours. So
yeah, exactly.
If we're in that mode for a while where it's every 2 weeks, even after this move thing, maybe that's just where we're at with 2021 right now. But summer will heat up. It's gonna get warm in the summer. So if spring's a little chilly for you, don't worry. There's more coming this year.
Indeed. And I'm going to read up a community that I have not spoken to in quite a while. It's the TiwtchGemz community. I was helping out the person who was leading them for a while. They were sorting out some drama stuff, people just dropping a Discord on them and that kind of stuff. And then I was like, that's too much for me. I've got my own shit to worry about. But they've been doing good otherwise, so it's going to be worth having a look over there. Anyways, have yourselves a good evening. Have a good weekend. We will see you next week. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. We're gonna hit the raid. It's gonna start in 5 more seconds, no.
Why can't we raid immediately? I want to go now.
Let's go!